a comfortable seat on our mat with our legs crossed, while placing our hands on our knees. And go ahead and take a deep inhale through your nose, and letting it out through your mouth. Again, big deep inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Keep breathing, listening to your inhale and your exhale. Clear your mind and set an intention for this practice. Set an intention. Maybe it's for your confidence, or maybe it's our personal power that we're wanting to tap into today. Taking 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale. We're going to go ahead and transition ourselves by going into tabletop position. And from tabletop position, we're going to go ahead and rise up to standing at the top of our mat. Now, while we're in Tadasana, let's keep our intention and our focus. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to warm up our body with our Surya Namaskar A. We're going to go ahead and inhale, bringing the arms up. Exhale, swooping them down into a forward bend. Remember in your forward bend to bend from the hips while you lengthen and elongate the spine. Inhale, half back. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming all the way up with our hands up to the sky. Prayer position, bringing them down to your heart. Now we're going to inhale and switching to our Surya Namaskar B, our Sun Salutation B. We're going to inhale, coming into chair pose, Utkat Asana. Now in chair pose, you want to make sure that you envision yourself sitting on a chair. Legs are together, knees are together. Core is engaged. Shoulders are down, arms are out. So when you take a breath, we're going to inhale, exhale, bending forward into our forward bend. Coming into our half bend. And now we're going to come to our first Chaturanga Dandasana. Placing our hands on the mat, stepping or jumping back. Slowly coming down. Now if you have a hard time with your Chaturanga, you can always do knees first, then hips, then chest. Let's go ahead and come up to our Urdhva Mukha Shavasana, upward facing dog. And then downward facing dog. Step or hop to the top of the mat, to your forward bend. Then half bend. And coming into our chair pose one more time. And Tadasana. So we want to go ahead and we're going to warm up our body a little bit more. Remember, we're focusing on our core, our personal power, our confidence. Let's go ahead and inhale, exhale, chair pose. Forward bend. Half bend. Coming down into Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. And then our downward facing dog. Step or hop to the top of the mat. Forward bend. Half bend. Coming all the way back up to chair pose. Then Tadasana. We're going to go ahead and take this sun salutation one more time. Inhale, Exhale, chair pose. Forward bend. Half bend. Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. And we're going to go ahead and stay in downward facing dog for a couple of breaths, feeling the warmth within our body, awakening that solar plexus. We're now going to go ahead and inhale, lifting our right leg up to three-legged dog. Exhale, pulling that leg through to the top of the mat into warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Make sure your shoulders are back, arms are up towards the sky, gaze is up towards the sky as well, your hands, hips are aligned. Let's go ahead and bring our hands down and come into plank, and then upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Step or jump to the top of your mat into our forward bend. Now we're going to come into our half bend and then meeting in Tadasana, inhaling and coming up to chair pose. Let's go ahead and take it down again. Inhale, exhale, chair pose, forward bend, half bend. Continuing this vinyasa as we meet in our downward facing dog. Now we're going to go ahead and come into our three-legged dog on our left side, lifting our leg up, opening up the hip. As we exhale, bringing that left leg forward into warrior one. Let's go ahead and bring our hands down, transitioning into plank, and then to upward facing dog, downward facing dog, step or jump to the top of your mat, into our forward bend, coming into our half bend, inhaling, forward bend, and then coming up into chair pose, meeting in Tadasana at the top of your mat. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to kind of step it up a little bit now since we are focusing on our core. So let's go ahead and do our Sun Salutation B again. Inhale, exhale, chair pose. Flowing it out, meeting in downward facing dog. Now, from our downward facing dog, we're going to go ahead and lift our right leg, coming into our three-legged dog, opening up those hips, and then pulling that right leg forward to the top of the mat into warrior one. Let's go ahead and take 3 breaths. And now let's switch to our warrior two. Make sure your knee is lining with your front toe, your big toe, and that your hips are aligned as well. Arms are strong. This is a strong pose and your core is engaged. From here, we're going to transition to our Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Taking a couple of breaths. Let's go ahead and transition to our downward facing dog. Now, let's go to our three-legged dog one more time on our left side, because of course we have to balance it out. Bringing that left leg forward into warrior one. Transitioning to warrior two. Now we're going to come into our revolved triangle on the other side. Remember, in yoga, it's all about balance. So if we do one side, we need to make sure to do the other side so that we're balanced out. You may notice one side may be tighter than the other side, and that's okay. As you continue with your practice, you'll see how the body changes and adapts as you're lengthening and strengthening your body. Let's go ahead and transition to downward facing dog. Now we're going to jump or step to the top of the mat while flowing it out, back, and meeting into Tadasana. Let's keep this heat building in our bodies and do our Sun Salutation B. Inhale, exhale, chair pose. Forward bend, half bend. Step or jump to the back of your mat, Chaturanga Dandasana. Meeting in downward facing dog. Here comes the fun part. From here, let's come down to our plank pose. We're going to hold this pose for about 4 deep breaths. Now from here, we're going to transition to our side plank on our right side. Now a good modification for this pose, if you're unable to hold it in the full pose, you can always bring your knees down to the mat while holding your core, the side of your core up. So instead of having the legs extended out, you'll just have them down on the mat. Listen to your body. See what your body tells you today for this practice, but make sure that core is engaged. Envision as if you see a fire within that solar plexus, the sun, and every hold, every breath makes it brighter. We're now going to switch to our left side to even it out. Now let's come into our child's pose. Really melt into this pose, bringing your head to the mat, arms back, hips back. Really feel the benefits of this pose. We did good. We worked our core, holding those planks. Coming out of child's pose, let's go ahead and come into our tabletop while we transition to seated in the middle of the mat with our legs extended out. Now, since we're focusing on the core, we're going to continue this with our Parihuna Navasana, full boat pose. A good modification for this is instead of having the legs fully extended out in a 90-degree angle, you can keep the legs bent. Slight bend. So as if you could balance a tray on the front of your legs. Let's go ahead and come into our full or half boat pose. So we're going to go ahead and come up to our full boat pose. Remember, core is engaged, arms are out. While you are holding this pose, envision a string pulling your head up, lengthening the spine, and your core is burning that solar plexus. It's glowing from the strength, your power. Legs are strong. Now, if you're in full boat pose, we're now going to come to our Ardha Navasana, our half boat. If you are in the modified boat pose, just go ahead and stay in half boat. Now, to come out of this pose, we're going to slowly put our legs down as we roll each vertebrae of our spine down to the bottom of our mat. Now we're going to go ahead and stretch out this core by coming into a Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, our bridge pose. Bringing your feet in line with your hips, making sure that your legs aren't going to be opening wide. We're going to go ahead and make sure our feet are planted onto the mat as we lift our hips up, pulling that navel up, stretching it with our hands beside us, palms facing the mat. If you'd like to stay here, that's fine. Or if you'd like to go into the full bridge pose, see if you can roll your shoulders back while bringing both hands underneath your glutes, and see if you can intertwine your fingers. Now keep in mind, you want to bring your chest to your chin as your hips lift up. Now, if you're in the full pose, go ahead and undo your hands, bringing them out to the sides, slowly bringing down your hips as we come into our final pose of our practice, Shavasana. Bringing our legs down, feet wide, melting into the mat, scanning the body. Your eyes are closed, listening to your breath. See if you feel any tension, starting at the forehead, your eyes, mouth, tongue, and just relax every muscle in the body. Envision your shoulders melting into the mat. Your hips are relaxed, your fingers, your legs, your toes. As your heart rate slows down and everything that you worked for today starts to set into the body. Now we're focusing on our solar plexus chakra, our core chakra. Envision your core glowing, and with every inhale and every exhale, that glow becomes brighter. That's your personal power. That is your confidence radiating from you. That is your solar plexus telling you thank you. And as always, thoughts will come and go. Just acknowledge them and let them pass. Now let's go ahead and bring some movement back to the body by wiggling our fingers and our toes. And when you're ready, bringing your hands over your head and giving your body a big stretch. Rolling over to one side. And then coming up to our seated, cross-legged seated pose in the middle of the mat. Keeping your eyes still closed. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to our heart in prayer position. And just take this moment to thank yourself. Thank yourself for making time to practice today and making time to fuel your motivation and to gain back your personal power, your confidence. Bring those positive thoughts down to your core, holding them close to that solar plexus. Now let's inhale, bringing all of that energy up to the sky, over your head. Bringing your hands together, transferring it down to your third eye, and then back to your heart. Thank you for allowing me to teach you today. Thank you for allowing me to help you with your personal power. Namaste.